10 utterly spectacular volcanoes in space. There's no denying it, volcanoes are pretty awesome. As you gaze upon these looming mountains spewing forth fire so hot it causes the ground itself to melt into a gooey pool, you get a sense of just how destructive and chaotic Mother Nature can be. But what's even cooler than the inspiration for Mount Doom? Space volcanoes. And they're way more explosive, or inspiring, and destructive than anything you'll find on Earth. Number 10. Olympus Mons, Mars. Most people know that Olympus Mons is the tallest mountain and volcano in the solar system, but its size is still difficult to fathom. Standing at a massive 25.7 kilometers, 16 miles, high, this Martian monolith is just under 3 times the height of Everest, and its base covers almost the same area as Arizona. Despite Olympus Mons's massive height, though, it would be remarkably easy to climb, as the average slope is only a 5 degrees incline. But how did it get so big? Like volcanoes on Earth, Olympus Mons was formed due to cooling lava emerging from hot spots underground. However, unlike Earth, Mars doesn't have a lot of tectonic motion. So these hot spots never shifted to a different location. The lava just kept building up in the same place until it became the beast of a mountain that is Olympus Mons. In fact, the volcano is so heavy that it actually sinks into the Martian surface, creating a moat around its base. Number 9. Pancake Domes, Venus. Venus is regularly depicted as Earth's sister planet, yet a more exact portrayal would be Earth's adolescent sister, as the second stone from the Sun is unstable, appalling, and difficult to comprehend. Venus has in excess of 1,600 significant volcanoes, and more than 85% of its surface zone is unadulterated volcanic magma fields. Notwithstanding, the majority of these volcanoes aren't your standard magma regurgitating slopes. One strange structure type is alluded to as a hotcake vault, which normally remains at just shy of 1 kilometer (0.6 miles) high and reaches between 22 kilometers (13 miles) and 65 kilometers (40 miles) in width. They are believed to be shaped through the emission of profoundly thick magma and spread out equitably because of the high weight present on Venus. Flapjack arches are regularly found in bunches, be that as it may. Disappointingly, a gathering of hotcake vaults isn't known as a stack. Number 8. Tiger Stripes, Enceladus, moon of Saturn. Saturn is by a wide margin one of the most fascinating planets with regards to our close planetary system. Flaunting an excellent and complex ring as well as 150 moons, some of which are so little they are given the delightful name of moonlets. One of the greater individuals from the Saturn moon family is Enceladus, a cold circle that houses a bizarre land marvel that cosmologists have named Tiger Stripes. These stripes are really 4 colossal edges over the moon's surface. They length 130 kilometers (80 miles) each and are about 2 kilometers (1.2 miles) wide and 500 meters (0.3 miles) profound. While these may appear to simply groove on a touch of ice, infrared symbolism shows that they produce a temperature that is altogether higher than the normal surface temperature, since they're really cryovolcanoes. Cryovolcanoes are much the same as should be expected volcanoes, just as opposed to vomiting up a liquid stone, they rather spray out water and different synthetic substances. They are solely found on frigid bodies in our nearby planetary group. However, what makes Enceladus Tiger Stripes extraordinary is that their ejections made a portion of Saturn's external rings and still feed into them today. Number 7. Pillin Patera Io, moon of Jupiter. To the extent space volcanoes go, Io is the spot to be. There's simply so much volcanic craziness going down on this little satellite. Despite the fact that Io is generally a similar size as our own moon, is it absolutely filled with volcanic action, which is all touchy, damaging, and totally wonderful. One of the most fascinating things to occur on Io happened in a pit considered Pillan Patera, in the mid-year of 1997. A calamitous blast occurred which arrived at temperatures of 160 degrees Celsius (320 degrees Fahrenheit), and hacked up volcanic mist that arrived at 140 kilometers (87 miles) over the Moon's surface. This at that point spread out to cover a territory bigger than the zone of Greece. Until now, the Pillan Patera emission is the biggest volcanic occasion ever seen. And however the delayed consequences are to some degree blurred, they are still obviously noticeable right up till the present time. Number 6. Cryovolcanoes. Triton, moon of Neptune. Regardless of being practically 2.7 billion miles away, we know an astounding sum about Neptune's biggest moon. Given its enormous good ways from the Sun, you would be all in all correct to expect that Triton has a solidified surface, implying that it could well group with cryovolcanic movement. Perceptions made by Voyager 2 show that there are many springs all situated in a band over the surface. This band is the hottest portion of the Moon because of warmth from the Sun, much like the Earth's equator, even however there is not really any daylight getting to Triton. There is sufficient sun-based radiation to raise the surface temperature by a few degrees, making the temperature and weight inclinations needed for springs. What makes these fountains so extraordinary, however, other than being a close to difficulty in any case, is that they spout out nitrogen gas constant for nearly 12 months all at once. Number 05. Tupan Patera Io. Tupan Patera is a blazing, horrible pit with an island stuck in the center. At a humble 75 kilometers (46 miles) over, it may not be the biggest or most dangerous fountain of liquid magma on Io. However, it is one that offers the most data about the planet's arrangement. The island in Tupan Patera has a superb red edge encompassing it, most presumably brought about by sulfur stores. The spring of gushing lava has additionally been shot various occasions from both the Voyager and Galileo satellites, and the shading, shape, and geography of the district all changed fundamentally over the 20 years between them. This demonstrates that Tupan Patera is dynamic and could well be paving the way to a major blast any day now. Number 04. Tharsis Montes Mars. Only a few hundred miles southeast of the Great Olympus Mons rest the Tharsis Montes, an assortment of three madly huge volcanoes. They range from 375 kilometers (233 miles) to 475 kilometers (295 miles) wide, and all transcend 15 kilometers (9 miles). To place that in setting, Earth's biggest well of lava is Mauna Loa in Hawaii, which scarcely covers 120 kilometers (75 miles) in width and stands at apparently 9 kilometers (5.5 miles). So what's noteworthy around three absurdly enormous volcanoes entirely adjusted in succession, in a fundamentally the same as component to one found on the Hawaiian Islands. Contemplates have indicated that the individuals Tharsis Montes area have really arranged themselves over the planet's set of experiences. Further investigations additionally demonstrate that the area might be lying lethargic for the time being and could eject again soon. Number 03. Cullen Patera Io. Despite the fact that not as memorable as the Pillan Patera blast, Cullen Patera is striking since it's an illustration of Promethean volcanism, or stream-ruled emissions. These land accomplishments are continually and definitely changing Io's surface, while blast-ruled ejections are over very quickly or days. stream ruled emissions years ago, even many years, with a consistent overflowing of magma, which traversed the surface. Along these lines, there are magma fields on Io that are greater than the biggest African countries, and the satellite pictures of the moderate streams are absolutely staggering. The Cullen Patera stream was caught by both Voyager in 1979 and Galileo in 1996, and the photographs featured some incredible changes in the scene over those 16 years. So it just goes to show, you don't need to be the close planetary system's greatest spring of gushing lava to crush a planet. Number 02. An unusual volcano, Venus. Essentially marked an unordinary spring of gushing lava, this may not look too great. However, there are a small bunch of marginally odd things about this fountain of liquid magma that disclosed to us a horrendous part about Venus' subtle past. Most importantly, it is 100 kilometers (62 miles) in width, yet just stands a simple 1 kilometer (0.6 miles) over the ground. In any case, it's not simply the fountain of liquid magma's little height that is odd, the cemented magma plains that encompass it are curious, as well. They structure a fan-like shape, demonstrating that they had a tough time streaming ceaselessly from the spring of gushing lava. This thus implies that the magma coming from the spring of gushing lava would have been far more thick than all else seen on the planet. These are for the most part key indications of non-basaltic magma stream, which is magma that contains a ton of water. We as of now have a dubious thought regarding what befallen the water on Venus. Since Venus comes up short on an ozone layer, bright light from the sun had the option to enter its upper air, where it separated water into its individual parts, hydrogen and oxygen. Sun-based breeze at that point stripped away the lighter hydrogen atoms. Someplace along the line, the planet's surface warmed up and sent the greater part of its water into the air, where it succumbed to this sun-oriented stripping. We don't generally have a clue when all that occurred, however we're gradually getting pieces of information. Around 750 million years prior, the entire surface of Venus went through something many refer to as a worldwide re-emerging occasion in which the whole planet got canvassed in magma. From that point forward, there have been various ejections and pit impacts on Venus, which are all utilized as time assessment gadgets for land occasions. The way that there is a fountain of liquid magma regurgitating water-weighty magma gives wonderful knowledge into the planet's natural and geographical history. Number 01. TV Ashtar Pateri Io. Set close to Io's north pole, TV Ashtar Pateri is really an assortment of pateri as opposed to a lone substance. This little locale has made the absolute most dynamite pictures of extraterrestrial volcanoes we have ever caught. One of the most scandalous pictures of TV Ashtar Pateri is the magma lake, which began from one of the more modest pateri and was taken by the Galileo test in 1999. Despite the fact that it looks immaterial from the outset, you need to think about that it's 25 kilometers (15 miles) over the size of Manhattan. In any case, what makes TV Ashtar Pateri so mind-boggling is an ejection that happened in 2007. Caught in a progression of photos taken by the New Horizons test. This marvelous occasion made volcanic crest that rose to 330 kilometers (200 miles) over the surface, as appeared in these tremendous photographs.